Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Now, in Manchester for Jummah today, at one of the main places of Jummah prayers, with the Heritage Centre, you may have seen on social media that there was a bit of a kickoff and the Musallis got very angry with the Imam, and there was a lot of shouting and commotion after the prayer. And quite a few people pray there, maybe quite a few hundred, maybe even up to 1,000 people pray there. And they got very angry. And I'll tell you why they got angry. The Imam gave a khutbah talking about Hajj, Ibrahim alayhi salam, his son, building the Kaaba, and stories related to the Hajj. What relevance did that have to the Muslims today? Not a lot, obviously. And that enraged the people. So people remained calm until the prayer was over. And when the prayer finished, many people got up and started shouting at the Imam, calling him a coward and calling him all sorts of things. And then things went up a notch when people realized that Afzal Khan MP for Manchester was also in the prayer hall. And as soon as people realized he was there, he made a quick cowardly exit and ran out, I think, from a side entrance or somewhere and disappeared, not to be seen again. And people tried to calm people down, and it sort of, people calmed down, people went home after that. But people were very angry. Now, the thing here is this. The Imam, I hear afterwards, was very distraught, very shaken by the experience, and he didn't know what to say or what to do. And I heard from sources that he's very upset, and it seems that he was told. Now this is waiting to be confirmed, but it seems that he was told not to talk about Palestine because there were counselors, Muslim counselors, and Afzal Khan in the audience, and he was told not to speak about the Palestinian issue. And not only that, apparently it seems that he was not the khatib for the day. Somebody else was supposed to give the Friday sermon, but about an hour before Jum'ah, he was pulled in and he didn't have a Jum'ah prepared, a sermon prepared, and he just gave something off the top of his head. But it seems he was under instructions not to speak about Palestine, which enraged the people. So we find that if this is the case, that he was told not to speak about it because of the MPs, it just goes to, again, reassert the point that these politicians, Muslim politicians who become MPs or councillors, are a hindrance rather than an aid to the Muslims and to the Islamic cause. And they don't speak the truth. So God only knows what they say to the Labour Party when they're with them. And when they come to us, they tell us a different story. So this is the characteristic. I'm not saying he is, but this is the characteristic of a hypocrite. When they're with one group of people, they will say one thing. And then when they're with another group of people, they say another thing. Now, these people like Afzal Khan, they need to have a reality check, right? You're not a politician. You're not somebody big. You're not somebody clever. You are being used by the Labour Party purely and simply because you are brown and you can get brown votes for the Labour Party. They don't rate your intellectual ability. They don't rate your educational ability. They don't even rate you as a politician. You and the people like yourselves are only in the Labour Party to get votes. And if you think you're going to get anywhere, you're not, because you will not be able to achieve anything for the Muslims or for Islam. You are either in it for yourself, or you are there basically to further the manifesto and policy agenda of the Labour Party. And this is a fact because your friend in Scotland, Hamza Yusuf, the highest Muslim politician, the most powerful Muslim politician in Britain, and as has been said before, and I've said this many times before, he's the most powerful Muslim politician in Britain. He's the First Minister of Scotland. His mother-in-law is stuck in Gaza, and he cannot even help her. And we know, I can assure you, that he is hurting. He wants to put an end to this bombardment in Gaza. He wants Palestine to be liberated. He wants his mother-in-law to come home. But he can't say that. He can't even help his mother-in-law because of the hypocritical, two-faced nature that these Muslim politicians have to live. They have to live this hypocritical reality where they have to say one thing for their political career, and when they come to the mosques and to the Muslims, they say something else. They're of no use to us, and they're no use to the Labour Party. You are being used, and the sooner you realize that, the better for yourself. But more importantly, this is a message to the Muslims. You need to realize that these so-called politicians will never help you. They represent a party which is a liberal secular party based on liberal secular principles to further the da'wah of liberal secularism. They are not going to help you unless it aids their cause. So if you think Palestine can be liberated by supporting your MP or your Labour Party or your Conservative Party or the Green Party or whatever party, it's not going to happen. We as an ummah are guided by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we need to return to Islam and look to Islam for the solutions. And we need to look to the Muslim world. We need to look to the Muslim world and put pressure on the Muslim world to act and come to their aid. If the West can ask for military aid to go to the aid of the Ukrainians, why can't we Muslims call on the Egyptian, Turkish, Pakistani, Jordanian armies to go there and protect the lives of the Muslims in Gaza? So we say armies to Al-Aqsa, armies to Aqsa, and that is something we should repeat, and we should look for practical solutions to solve the problem in Gaza, and not look to these two-faced politicians who are at best in it for themselves, but at worst just wasting their time. They're no use to the Muslims, they're no use to the parties they belong to. So forget them, forget writing letters to them, work with honest people, work with even non-Muslims who are sincere and honest about what's going on. And they, and there's a lot of people out there who no longer take the narrative from the government or from the media. You know, when you had like 300,000 people marching in London, that just goes to show you that with all this propaganda by the politicians and the media globally, not just in Britain, but globally, the vast number of people refuse to accept the lies put out by the Zionists and the lies put out by the BBC. So this is something good for us. This is something positive, that the mainstream narrative of lies is being rejected by so many people. So Muslims should come together, look towards the Muslim world, look for a military intervention, armies for Aqsa, to stop and end to the war and to lead to the liberation of Palestine. And inshallah, we make dua for that. We make dua that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala aids the Muslims, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala turns the hearts of the people in the armed forces in Egypt, Turkey, Pakistan, Jordan, wherever, to come to the aid of the Muslims. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.